how much does this make sense for China and or for Hong Kong? Is this, something that they would be willing also to increase in value because it makes so much sense them owning?
Yeah, definitely. Like Charles Lee, the HKEX CEO, actually said this is an ambitious and far-reaching deal that they have been considering for many months. So you look at Hong Kong IPO volume, it was #1 last year. This year was trailing a little bit. But again, this is a very interesting deal in a lot of perspective. Also at a time when Hong Kong is in the middle of anti-government protests. So I think you can look at it from many perspectives. But again, I think the bottom line is a lot of us here are still surprised by the deal. So it takes time to digest what the news could mean for the HKEX in Hong Kong.
Sarah, how surprising was actually the timeline, right? So you look at the LSE and it's going through its own transformative deal. Could that, put everything up in the air?
Absolutely. I mean, the question is whether this Refinitiv deal, this Refinitiv LSE deal now goes through. The offer that has come in from the Hong Kong exchange has said that it is contingent on the deal of Refinitiv not going through. So that can certainly throw a lot of deal making into absolute chaos.
Sarah, I'm absolutely stunned at the words that are being floated around, audacious, shocked, etc. Which institutions in London will drive this conversation? You can't tell me it's just the LSE. Which other institutions will weigh in as Hong Kong tries to acquire London?
Well, I think the two main ones that you have at the moment will be Refinitiv, which was this former data business owned by Thomson Reuters, and Blackstone, the global asset manager and private equity firm that was driving a deal to merge the LSE and Refinitiv. The question is whether the LSE wants to continue on an exchange path, which it could do if it were to tie up with the Hong Kong exchange, or if it would like to go down another path and be more data-driven instead.
Fion Lee, we're watching on T-Live Go. And folks, on the terminal, the Bloomberg terminal, we have a series called T-Live Go. Fion Lee's been on there many times, I know, on the protests in Hong Kong. And they're beginning a briefing in Hong Kong right now. Fion, what will be the response of the Hong Kong business community to this, to use the word from the Telegraph, audacious proposal?
I think, yeah, there's a conference call going on, I think, right now, 6 p.m. Hong Kong time. So I think there will be questions from analysts on, or the ex-management will explain like the rationale behind. I think the business sector here probably want a wait-and-see mode. Again, Hong Kong is a top destination for IPO for many companies, be them Hong Kong company, Chinese company, or even some overseas companies. So I think that the reaction would be, what does it mean for their fundraising plan?
Sarah, one final question. Ben Kelly over at Lewis Capital talks about sterling. Is this happening because of the devaluation of pound sterling given all of Brexit? Is this one indicator of the price of Brexit?
I'm sure there is a certain factor that is driving that, or the drop in sterling is certainly driving that. It makes the UK a much cheaper destination for foreign investors than it previously has. So I'm absolutely sure that some of the driving factor from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange has been this drop in sterling, for sure.